From Lake Como, welcome to the GCN show.
Welcome to the GCN show.
The question we are asking ourselves this week is, does cycling make you healthier? We also check in with Mark Beaumont as he completes his ride around the globe in record time.
Yeah, also the World Championships from Norway kicks off. We have hack, bodge, extreme, wattage, bazooka, plus a downward fail.
No, that's not going in.
It's already in, mate, I'm afraid.
This week in the world of cycling, we learned that Sarah Hammond is now officially an ultra-endurance legend. More of that coming up later in racing news.
Yeah, and also this week we learned that 62% of you think that Dan here could beat Nora Quintana in a sprint.
Oh yes. I think I could have Quintana in a sprint finish.
But I'm going to have my say, because I didn't get a chance to vote.
Go on then.
Dan, with the greatest respect, I don't think that you could beat Nora Quintana anything to do with cycling, I'm afraid.
Not even bunny hopping, surely. No, I take your point, and you are probably right. We also learnt this week exactly what Chris Froome looks like, and I mean all of Chris Froome.
I can see why we didn't put that one in cycling shorts. But let's face it, Chris Froome is a lean, mean cycling machine, and everything you'd expect, I guess, from an endurance athlete who's at the top of their game, where power to weight ratio is everything. And of course, you do burn a hell of a lot of calories when cycling.
Yeah, that is true. Although the picture did get us thinking, didn't it? How much cycling is too much? And does cycling always make you healthier?
Well, a study published in the British Medical Journal earlier this year, which followed a very large number of commuters over a 5-year period, actually showed that commuting to work by bike reduces the risk of dying of heart disease by 51%, which is a massive number compared to commuting to work by public transport or by car, and also reduces the risk of dying of cancer by 40%.
Wow, those are some pretty significant reductions right there, aren't they? Also, researchers over at the University of Illinois found that just a 5% increase in cardiorespiratory fitness through cycling led to up to a 15% increase in mental test results. So not only does cycling help you get fitter and healthier, it also helps your brain work better.
Maybe I'm the only person that bucks that trend.
Well, who knows where you'd be without cycling.
The commuters that went to work by bike actually had a 52%, it's a 51.
51, yeah.
She's finally completed the 3010 grueling course in a time of 11 days and 8 hours.
Sorry, you didn't say kilometres. Say it one more time, was it?
Sorry, what did I say?
3010 grueling course. Quite kind.
But there have been a whole host of pretty good it. Right, one more time. Okay. Meanwhile, back on the road, there haven't been any World Tour races, but there are... Right, okay, let's slow this down. Meanwhile, back on the road, there haven't been... What's that?
Right, you slow this down. Meanwhile.
And then there's the long-term study carried out by Finnish researchers, which showed that men who exercised at a moderate level for 30 minutes a day were half as likely to develop cancer as those that didn't. And then there was the study at the Mayo Clinic in the United States, which showed that cycling 52 minutes a week slowed the aging process. So Dan, I don't think I need any more citations at all. Cycling makes you healthier. Fact.
Well, hang on a second there. I don't disagree with what you are saying, but the studies that we have cited so far haven't looked at the extreme parts of the sport. So professional cyclists and ultra-endurance cyclists. And actually, at that very same Mayo Clinic, they did a study which found that endurance athletes are damaging their heart over time. In fact, it led one of the authors of that study, Dr. Chip Lavey, to conclude that more exercise is most certainly not better.
Well, that's not too much of a surprise, Dan, because I guess you can have too much of a good thing. But what I found really interesting was a study in the European Heart Journal that was carried out on 52,000 cross-country skiers over a period of 10 years. So quite an intensive study. And what it found was that arrhythmia increased in every race that the skiers did, and there was a 30% higher risk of arrhythmia in those athletes who'd participated consecutively for 5 years.
Yeah, I did read that exact same study, and also of note from my perspective was the fact that the fastest finishers were the most effective, which could be an indication that high intensity exercise is also perhaps not that good for you. And then there was some research done in Denmark as well, which followed people for 12 years, and they found that people who ran at a very high pace for at least 4 hours per week, over 3 to 4 runs or more, are just as much at risk of dying as the people in the study who barely exercised at all.
Oh, Dan, stop it, mate. This is depressing. What are we supposed to do?
Well, by the sounds of it, and the other study we mentioned, what we should be doing are 3 to 4 rides per week of an hour or less at quite a low intensity.
Well, that's not going to get us very far, is it?
No, that literally isn't going to get us very far.
Isn't it? Is it? Oh, I'm just going to keep smashing that thing for all the way to the cap, I think.
I'll sit on your wheel. Take it a bit easier.
It's now time for cycling shorts.
It's official. Bike sharing is a big deal. Now, the People's Daily in China has reported that 70,000 new jobs, that's 1% of all jobs in the country, are in the bike sharing sector.
Yes, I saw that as well, but I'm afraid, Matt, it is not all good news because apparently the bikes from said schemes are being discarded in all sorts of places, including 30 that were found at the bottom of a river on a 1.4 kilometre stretch, according to the Beijing Morning Post.
Well, some better news over in France. Now, it looks like the cobblestones of Paris-Roubaix may be returning to the Tour de France in 2018. If this tweet by the Friends of Paris-Roubaix is anything to go by.
Yes, although the tweet doesn't actually state that they will be going over those famous pavé sections. But let's hope so, and you'd imagine that they will go over them, because it always produces some very entertaining racing, doesn't it?
Definitely.
There was some controversy last week, in fact, wasn't there? Because Chloe Hosking, who is Australia's best-ranked female professional rider, wasn't picked to represent Australia at the World Championships in Norway. Subsequently, though, she firstly out-sprinted a dog whilst out training. Have a look at this tweet. But she then went down the more traditional route of making an appeal, which was successful. So she will now be lining up for the road race this coming weekend with a full quota of Australian women.
Wow, she is going to be ever so slightly motivated
she
to
will
perform. Now, if you need some motivation, take a look at this. Javinder Singh proving that we need absolutely no excuse to get out on two wheels and enjoy the ride.
Yes, chapeau, sir. That is really quite impressive indeed, isn't it? And talking of impressive, our friend Mark Beaumont, as we record this, is very close to finishing his round-the-world record attempt. And fingers crossed, when this comes out, he will be done. Now, as you well know, his aim was to do it within 80 days, and he's actually slightly ahead of schedule. It looks like he's going to do it in 79. I think it's time we went and had a final word with him.
I mean, I can tell you honestly, since you last rode with me on the 2nd of July, I've not slept for more than 5 hours. And I've been on my bike for 16 hours every day, at least. So, I've been to depths of hurt and sleep deprivation and suffering that I've, never been to in my entire life. I'm sure this is the hardest bike ride, the hardest thing I'll ever do.
Well, to put it in context, day one was the hardest bike ride that I've ever done and hopefully will ever do. So, 79 of them back-to-back.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a strong background in endurance cycling. I've cycled around the world before, top to bottom, length of Africa, but this trip makes the rest of it look like kindergarten. I've built on a decade of doing this stuff, but it's taken me to another level. But important to say, I've suffered on the bike, but equally, for the first time, I could not have done this. I could not break this record without these guys. It's been an amazing team effort, and I worried actually that I'd be a bit of a loner out there on my bike, so used to doing the self-supported bike packing, and that this pressure cooker situation, living in an RV, just riding. I've loved it. I've absolutely loved it.
78 days and about 14 hours since leaving the Arc de Triomphe. Mark Beaumont has returned. He's in the centre of that scrum over there. In that time, he has cycled 18,030 miles. He's averaged 240 miles a day and all done on about 4 to 5 hours sleep. An utterly remarkable achievement. He's smashed the world record, but to be honest with you, this is in a whole league of its own. It will be beaten one day, I'm sure, but what an absolutely remarkable thing to do on a bike. Potentially, I'm going to stick my neck out here and say one of the greatest cycling achievements ever at the Arc de Triomphe. There you go. That'll be an argument for you.
Wow. That is not a record, Matt, that I can see being broken for some time to come.
Or at least 80 days anyway.
Okay, Tech of the Week this week is from Morf Technologies. This is a crowd-funded project which has successfully been funded. Essentially, it's a set of time trial bars which the base bar turns into your time trial extensions. You simply press a locking mechanism which releases the lock, and then you go into the aerodynamic position. Would I like to use it on a technical circuit? I'm not sure. I've not actually seen these myself, but I'll be keen to give them a go, definitely, just to actually experience it, because it looks very, very interesting. I think though, this is something for the hour record, where aerodynamics is key. You simply press that lever, go into that position, and away you go. Alex Dowsett, we know that you're a friend of the show. We know you watch the show. I want to know what you think of these bars. Back to Matt and Dan in Alta Badia. I'm still dreaming of going there, you know.
The World Championships kicked off at the weekend with the men's and women's team time trial events.
Yeah, in the latter, there was a surprise victory for Team Sunweb. Now, the Dutch team rode a very controlled race and beat pre-race favourites and last year's world champions Boels Dolmans by 12 seconds, with Cervello Bigler third for the second year in succession.
Meanwhile, in the men's race, there was another upset with exactly the same team. Yep, Team Sunweb managed to pull off a quite incredible double, something which has never been done before. They got the better of defending champions Quickstep, who could only manage fourth on the day, whilst BMC took the silver and Team Sky the bronze.
Sarah Hammond has done the double. Now, you may remember last week when we reported on her leading the Race to the Rock in Australia. Well, she's finally completed the 3,010 kilometre gruelling course in a time of 11 days and 8 hours, repeating her success of last year. Now get this, when she crossed the line, the second place rider, Kevin Benkenstein, still had 200 kilometres to go.
Yeah, she's good, isn't she?
She's very
Sarah
good.
Hammond. Third place finisher was a former Trans Am winner, Jesse Carlson. Although, to be fair, he had given all of his competitors a 600 kilometre head start.
600 kilometres? That's a long way to miss your start by, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, he didn't forget what time the start of the race was. It was just that his dynamo hub got damaged in the flight on the way to the race. And it took that long to get a replacement over. So to finish third after all of that, very impressive. In fact, all of the finishers, very impressive, because that is one hell of a brutal race right there.
Meanwhile, back on the road, there haven't been any major World Tour events to speak of, but there have been a whole host of pretty solid single days as riders build towards the World Championships. First up, Michael Albacini, well, he won the Coppa Agostini.
Yeah, Tim Wellens won in the Grand Prix Wallonie.
Sonny Colbrelli won the Coppa Bernocchi.
Fernando Gaviria won the Championship of Flanders.
And Matteo Trentin won solo in the Primus in Panis over in Belgium. All of those riders have been picked and are looking good before the Worlds.
Yeah, and one other rider who will be at the World Championships representing their country on Sunday is the Dane, Mads Pedersen. He took a very popular home victory at the Tour of Denmark at the weekend. And I am going to say this right now. Here's my outside bet to win the rainbow jersey. There you go, I've said it.
I think I might put a couple of quid in him, actually.
Yeah.
Well, sticking with the Tour of Denmark and the teammates of Pedersen, did you see the individual time trial in the Tour of Denmark?
Yeah, I did. That was a little bit wet, wasn't it?
It was absolutely soaking. But it was Matthias Brendley of Trek Sigafredi who took the victory there. And because of that win and what he had to put up with, we're going to award him this week's Wattage Bazooka, but we're going to rename it.
What?
Wattage Torpedo.
See what you did there.
Yeah, like that.
Meanwhile, the viewer Wattage Bazooka goes to Annick Rudekerken. She, at the weekend, not only broke the Dutch land speed record over in Nevada in the USA, she also got arrested because she was going so fast.
Wow, she got actually like handcuffed, didn't
Yeah.
she? Was that staged or was it real?
Well, let's hope so. Either way, well done, Annick. Very, very fast.
That's pretty shifting,
Faster than
wasn't
we can go downhill.
Definitely. It's time now for hack/nice one, bodge of the week. Starting up with this from Simples876 over on Instagram. Never get cold or frozen fingers or hands from your CO2 bottles to fix punctures or hear them rattle in your saddlebag again. Just use an old inner tube, put it over your bottles. Hack.
That is pretty much a neat and cheap solution to a genuine few problems.
It
there,
is. I
isn't
mean,
it?
it's so simple. I've never seen it done before, and why not? I mean, fantastic.
Well, they've said themselves it's a hack, but we're going to agree with you on this occasion. That is a hack.
Definitely a hack.
Next up, definitely a bodge, is this one on Twitter from Cal. Steering wheel as handlebars. We have seen that before. I can't see any brakes anywhere.
No,
Let's hope there's a back pedal
I
brake.
don't think that'd be road legal.
Whoever
but
this is obviously very proud of their bike because that is some lock. next up, I don't think we've seen an ass saver quite like this before. It looks like 5 pot noodle pots cut in half to stop the spray going up this person's backside. Thanks to Vincent Nadon for sending that in, or perhaps Vincent Nadon.
That is that a hack or a bodge, Dan?
Bodge, most definitely.
Definitely a bodge. Well, next up we have this from Kay on
Oh, yes.
from Bremen in Germany. What's going on here? Some random cyclists during Hochstrassen Tour in Bremen. Well, there's a lot going on.
Hochstrassen Tour, I think you might mean.
Thank you very much.
There's a lot going on with that bike, isn't there? But there's actually some really cool retro mountain bike parts there. Spinergy wheels, RockShox Judy SL forks, a return of the bar ends, which I think have gone out of popularity over with the mountain bikers at the moment. Not so sure, though, about that saddle cover.
No, a nice use of free flags as well, but there is definitely... Are they grip shift at the top end as well? But look at the little bar ends too. Super retro.
I quite like
it.
that.
I like it a lot.
Next up, Hobo Homestead has sent this in on Instagram. Hashtag GCN hack, remember, is how you can share these photos with us. The button split on my Garmin Edge. Time for a waterproof hack from the saddlebag.
I love it. That is
Yeah.
so simple. Never seen that done
Probably
before
works, I'd imagine, as well. Well
That's
done.
pretty neat. And last up is this from Simon Ware. What a bike, New York modification.
Yeah, that's like a chopper saddle on the back of the normal bike with stump pegs to give someone a
Basket.
backy.
But look, I just love the clean lines. It's
Yeah.
really
Hack.
simple, uncluttered, looks cool.
It is competition time now. Some lucky winners out there. Let's read out the Control Tech winners to start with. First up, the winner of Time Mania is Chris Winnett. Well done to you. The winner of the Cougar is Marcus Corbell, and the winner of the EXL Gravel is Matt Widhelm. We'll be in touch with you shortly to get your addresses, etc., and get those out to you in the post.
And we have another competition result for you, but this time I'm going to ask for a drum roll. You didn't ask for a drum roll, Dan. I'm going to
Sorry,
ask
yep.
for one on this occasion.
Ready?
So drum roll, please.
What for?
The lightweight wheels, the big competition. The winner is Ernesto Camaro.
Wow, those Milan
great
stars will
prize.
be wheeling their way towards you very shortly.
Yeah.
Well done.
It's time now for Caption of the Week. Last week was this picture of a certain Peter Sagan atop the podium.
Winner of the GCN Camelback Water Bottle is Andrew Reinhardt, who put caption, how many pumps could Peter pump if Peter's profession was a proficient pumping pro?
Can you say that again, but quicker?
No, I can't.
All right.
Get in touch with us on Facebook with a message and your address, and we'll get that bottle to you as soon as we possibly can.
Ooh, and this week's picture is from Bergen in Norway, ahead of the World Championships. It's basically a goat in a World Champions jersey. And we're going to start you off with Danny's. He's put a lot of effort into
Yep.
this. It was an hour. He just disappeared for an hour, and he came back with this.
Well, it was time well spent, as you will
was.
see shortly. Ready?
Yep.
You've got to be joking.
Well, again, he set the bar very, very low. Hopefully, you can do better.
Yeah, leave your captions in the comment section down below, and we'll choose the winner this time next week.
On the channel this week, on Wednesday, Johnny Chocolate Voice Bevan looks back at his experiences on the Haute Route. And on Thursday, we have our top 10 riders to watch out for at the Elite Men's and Women's Road Race Championship over in Norway. And on Friday, it's Ask GC Anything.
Saturday's Pro Bike is a cool one. It's a vintage Assos, which Sai's looking at.
Assos bike?
Yeah, and Sai's
Cool.
hosting you again on Sunday. At that point, it is a DT Swiss factory tour. We're back in the maintenance set on Monday, and then on Tuesday, the GCN show again.
Come round again quick, don't they?
From the beautiful Chateau Vaux-le-Vicomte near Paris, France, welcome to the GCN show!
Well, I'm afraid to tell you that that's almost the end of this week's GCN show, but we will finish, as ever, with Extreme Corner. And this footage of cyclocross legend Sven Nys, filmed by Peg Kiner at the Chi Cross Cup. Check this out, these are some mad skills.
This is good.
He's a perfectionist, Sven, isn't he?
That
Did
was-
it twice in a race.
That was nice.
Yeah.
From Nice.
I see what you did there. I think we should finish
mate.
this programme.
I think we should.
All that leaves us to do is say a big thank you to the Natcha Hotel Miraval here in Alton Badir for hosting this week's GCN show. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it.
Yeah, and if you'd like, and you already haven't done so, if you want to subscribe to the Global Cycling Network, click on the globe. It is absolutely free. Now, for another pretty cool video, how about clicking just down here for our cycling rivalries?
Or if you'd like to learn those skills that you've just seen from Sven Nys and others, you can click on the video just down here.